Good morning and welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Friday, the third day of Elul. Reminder once again to say the extra chapter of Tehillim. Today is chapter 7, 8, 9. Let's begin with Tzedakah. Tzedakah brings Moshiach closer, as we will learn today. And today we are finishing letter 10 in Igeret Hakodesh. And the Alter Rebbe tells us about acting with God's kinds of kindness, unlimited kindness. He explained why we need to act in that way. So when we act in unlimited kindness, it triggers God's unlimited kindness. And we need to do it because we need to fill up and to fix the damages that was done through sins, throughout the generations, and so on. But each particular person, each individual. So we need to get, in order to fix and to rectify what we did not do in the past, we can fix by tapping into our deeper selves, going beyond what is required from us. That is true really in every area. To be kind to people. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Sometimes it's not easy. You go beyond your abilities. You take an extra step to be nice to other people, to take the extra step in doing the mitzvah. You want to do a mitzvah, you want to do it a certain way. You want to say one chapter of Tehillim, said, no, I'm going to do a second chapter of Tehillim. Every mitzvah is like that. Here, the Alter Rebbe speaks specifically about giving tzedakah beyond your requirements, whatever is necessary, whatever is required from a person to give, you go beyond. And that is because by giving to someone who doesn't have, you're acting godly, and you spark the God's giving in that way as well. And here the Alter Rebbe explains that this is especially true as we come closer to Moshiach, and we need to bring Moshiach down. So he says that Ein Ben David Ba, Moshiach doesn't come until we give out the last coin of our pocket, from our pocket. So literally, it sounds like we're going to have to be poor before the coming of Moshiach. The Rebbe explains that doesn't necessarily have to be that way. There is also, what it means is that you'll go beyond your limitations. And having a sense of being poor does not have to be in the physical sense. It could be also in the spiritual sense. And because what is poor? Poor is a relative term. What people are called poor today, if people 100 years ago would have what these people have, a house, a telephone, and they're still called poor, all of these things, 100 years ago, they would be called rich. It's all relative. And poverty obviously is a relative thing. It's based on what your needs are, or the needs in a certain time. In the spiritual sense, it can also be that way. When you feel you stand in front of people who know much more than you feel, in a sense, poor compared to what they know. You realize, I know nothing. When we feel that way towards godliness, especially today when we have so much knowledge of the Hasidus and deeper teaching of the Torah is available today, and when we realize how much we don't know, how far we are, how poor we are in a spiritual sense, when we have that sense of poverty in a spiritual sense, we don't have to be poor in the physical sense. So all of this is the Alter Rebbe telling us that, again, the main focus is at the Chasdei Hashem. We have to act with the God's kind of kindness, unlimited kindness, and that ultimately will bring us the coming of Mashiach. Let's say insight. Says the Rebbe, והנה, מידס חסד זו בלי גבול ומידה נקרס על שמוי של הקודש ברוך הוא. Now, since this is God's manner of practicing benevolence, this mode of unlimited kindness is known by the name of the Holy One, blessed be He. Chastei Hashem, the kindness of God. K'dichsiv v'chesed Hashem mo'elam ad olam. As it is written, and God's chesed is everlasting. Mo'elam ad olam means it's in every single level. Because although all of Israel are compassionate and practice kindly deeds by nature, nevertheless there is a limit and measure to a man's compassion. The Holy One, blessed be He, He is called Ein Sof, the Infinite One. Ulemidaisav Ein Sof, and His attributes, like Himself, have no end. As it is written, for His mercies have never ceased. And now the Alter Rebbe goes to explain, excuse me, the verse that he began this letter. When he said, the verse says in Jeremiah, in Eicha, the prophet Jeremiah, in Lamentations, it says, Chastei Hashem kelei samna, the kindness of Hashem that we have not ended. It's the kindness of Hashem. However, the Alter Rebbe asked in the beginning of the letter that this verse does not really make sense. So say, if you want to say that we have not ended, and that Hashem's, we said, Chasdi Hashem Kelei Samnu, the kindness of Hashem that have no limits, you should say Kelei Samu. Samu means they have not ended. They have no limits. The word Samnu means we have not ended. And the Samnu has also a meaning of Tam, which means perfect, because we are not perfect. So what is this verse saying? The verse is saying, Chastei Hashem ki lo samnu. We need to act with Chastei Hashem, with God's kind of kindness. Why? Because we are not perfect. In other words, what we said in the last few lessons. Because we are not perfect. And we missed opportunities of bringing down God's revelation through doing all of the mitzvahs and so on. So because we're not perfect, so we need to rectify it by acting in not a regular kindness, but in godly kind of kindness. Unlimited kindness, beyond the needs, beyond the requirements. That's what the Alter Rebbe says. And this is the meaning of the prophet's words. After the destruction and the exile, the kindness of God have surely not ended. Pirush, לפי שלא ישמנו, שאין אנו תמימים ושלמים, בלי שום חטא ופגם בנפש בעולם העליונים. That is, because we are not perfect, inasmuch as we are not perfect, we are not tamimim and whole without any sin or blemish in our soul or in the higher world. So because of that, על כן, צריכים אנו להסנהג בחסדי השם שהם בלי גבול וסחלינס. We therefore need to conduct ourselves in accordance with God's kindnesses that are without limits or end. And the purpose is כדי לא עורר עלינו רחמים וחסד אלוה, שהוא רב חסד ורחמים בלי גבול ותכלס, in order to call down upon ourselves supreme compassion, meaning the Rav Chesed, an unlimited, infinite compassion. As it is written, At the conclusion of this verse, for his mercies have never ceased. And now the Alter Rebbe explains, he says, this will explain a verse that says that the Jewish people, our sages say, the Jewish people are not redeemed, they're redeemed only through charity. And Alter Rebbe is going to say, what kind of charity are we talking about? We're talking about the unlimited charity that we just discussed. And he'll explain why. This is what our sages of blessed memory meant by saying that Israel will be redeemed only through charity. So what kind of charity are we talking about? This refers to charity that they will perform even if they are legally not obligated. And here the Alter Rebbe says, he bases it on another statement of our sages that say, Ki ein ben David bo chulu. For Moshiach, the son of David, will not come until, the Alter Rebbe doesn't end it, he just said chulu, etc. Look it up yourself. What does it say there? It's until the pocket will be empty of even the smallest coin. So we know that the Alter Rebbe was very, very careful in writing his letters. Every single word is precise. So the Rebbe points out here, as we mentioned in the beginning of the class, that here this statement of our sages say that Mashiach will not come until the pocket will be empty of the smallest coin, meaning that we'll have no money. So the Alter Rebbe, first of all, the Rebbe says that this can be done in a spiritual sense, as we said before. When you feel yourself poor in a spiritually, that also can be and does the same effect of being poor. And for that reason, says the Alter Rebbe didn't want to spell out the rest of this statement, because he didn't want to, because it doesn't have to be that way. It can be in different ways. So this is what the Rebbe explains. As we know, the Rebbe was very, very much about encouraging people to, not only people, the Rebbe was talking to different holy people, tzaddikim, about the necessity that Jewish people need to be reached today in order to be able to do what we need to do and transform the world. We need to have the wealth to do the right things, and when we do the right things is what we need. So we don't have that sense of this feeling, boasting, God forbid, with what we have. In the contrary, we're doing whatever Hashem gives us, we're using it in the right places, in the right way, and this way we'll be able to have the revelation, the coming of Moshiach that came very soon. Wishing you all a good Shabbos and all the best.